So I thought we'd do a little warning label on the poem Tintinnabulation that I put up, because it's a very volatile poem. And I don't want to go into explaining all of the references, and that I do think poems should stand on their own two legs. That if you don't get the references, it should be a good poem anyway, but it's not a good poem. But since this one is so charged, because I feel very strongly about the subject matter, I thought I would make a little addendum or preface, however. Tintinnabulation is a poem about what is happening, not what I wish to be happening, not what I think is a good idea. It is about what women have long done and long suffered for doing. It is too much to ask of women that we put our bodies on the line for men to whom we simply are not real. It is my most fervent conviction that it ought not to be this way, and that we should set about changing it as soon as possible. I strongly urge men to stop exhibiting such deathliness, lest we become convinced. So that's what I put on the publication as an aside. Because I write poetry and publish it, I don't think of it as my job to speak extemporaneously. I figure YouTube has plenty of talking heads. But I do want to say a few things about what happened in the genesis of that poem, maybe even what's been happening in feminism. Try not to be too positive. I don't have editing software, so bear with me if you can. I consider myself a radical feminist, and I am very concerned about the possibility that this poem could be a kind of rape apology, just because it does describe that, for those of you who didn't catch that. It's describing a kind of generalized sexual encounter in geological time that is not equitable and just, and doesn't start off pleasurable. Well, I suppose the middle is a whole big chunk of not pleasant. Intro is very nice, I think. But because that is what women have to work with, women have worked with that. And as sad and horrifying as it is, that's our situation. And we do the best we can in it, especially alienated from each other at such a young age as women, being male-identified and having internalized the gaze and all this. And I think as hard as it is to see a good place when you're stuck in a bad place, to get there, in that, trying to find those moments of beauty, those moments of connection in the middle of some very dire hardship is, I guess, beginning and end of my search for meaning. That that's the way, at least I've chosen so far. Not to say you shouldn't draw hard lines, not to say you shouldn't have the capacity to walk away if you ever need it, but that we do have to work together or we won't work. So I just thought that I would throw that out there, that it's not meant to encourage that kind of encounter. We should be coming together romantically on just and equitable terms. We should make that happen. what I thought Tintinnabulation was doing the very best with very little. A kind of transcendence that people like to talk about when they don't have the material wherewithal to make concrete changes in their lives. There's a kind of escape. And in the Sadean sense, if you were to take it as a comparison between Justine and Juliet, this is absolutely like a Juliet kind of poem. It's I'm not it's that mentality that you're not victimized if you consent to situations of harm. That if you like it, then it's not harmful anymore, and you're liberated. I guess that would be the liberal feminist take on it, and that is absolutely where this poem was written from. It's that part of me that wants to be a good sport and doesn't want to hurt feelings and wants to be nice, wants to be good, wants to love, and I think that that's valuable just as much as those hard lines. That we need both. So I'm going to stop rambling and be in the talking head. Thank you for listening.